This is a Big Dime production, and Jerry Green Gospel presents Sports Talk. Our host tonight is Minister Henry Green.
All right, how is everyone doing this evening? So we'll go around and introduce everybody. Well, we'll start with Kendall. How are you, Kendall?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing fantastic. I still OKC's got it, but I don't know. That Halliburton is doing something.
Yeah, we definitely going to talk about that. And Bruce Austin, how are you, Bruce?
I'm doing great, man.
All right,
like I said, anytime.
Go ahead. Were you saying something?
No, go ahead, Larry.
And Larry Pearson, how are you, Larry?
I'm a little shocked after last night. Got to regroup.
and the gentleman that introduced me, Big Donald Franklin.
Everything's good, but I want to tell Larry.
So now we are going to start with last night's game. Now we had game one in the NBA championship. OKC, the best record in the NBA all year. They had the lead the whole game. They caused 18 turnovers and still lost by 1 point. Bruce, since you were the only one that picked Indiana, let's start with you. Your thoughts on last night's game.
It was just like y'all always say. It's all about matchups. And see, a lot of time when people watch the game, they look to see how good the superstars gonna do. What I do, I know the superstars gonna do their thing. I look to see what kind of role players they got and how they can affect the game. And guys like Neesmith and the other boy, hey man, it's a lot more than Halliburton. But I look at Halliburton like we used to talk about LeBron. People want to say he's not a superstar because he's not offensive minded like Kendall said. He's more of a point guard. But what I noticed from him is, just like you say, he 5 for 5 ending the game. He has the ability to turn it on anytime he wants to. He can score. And he's proven that. He done sent all the big boys home, the Milwaukee's, everybody. And like they say, he 5 for 5 on game closer points. You know what I mean? All that stuff ain't coincidence. He could turn it on. He could score 40 a game if he want to. He's just that good. But he believed in doing what I always said Brunson won't do. He keeps his teammates involved.
All right. So, Larry, what's your thoughts on last night's game?
I think it was a great game. I think for OKC's full team getting involved. I think Shea did too much shooting. He tried to score too much, and instead of let all his other players get involved and score more points and get them in the action, him and Williams was doing too much shooting, and everybody else should have gotten involved, and I think it would turn out differently.
All right. Kendall, what's your thoughts, man?
Listen, man, I didn't see it coming. The boy's 5 for 5. Reggie Miller has 5. LeBron has 7. But his is 5 chances, 5 times he's closed it out for this year. And just like Bruce was saying, he's showing us how to get everybody involved. Now, we love the way Brunson closes the show, but who moved on in the second round? So my question is, who outplayed who? Especially when, although he wasn't shooting, he had a game winner against the Knicks. He had a game winner against OKC. He had a game winner against the Celtics. He had a game. This guy, no, not the Celtics, a Milwaukee Bucks.
Milwaukee
is just, I don't know what to say. I think he's showing us the old school point guard, getting everybody involved. The right two teams who had the best record from January on. These two teams had the best record. The right two teams are in the playoffs right now.
What's your thoughts on last night's game, Donald?
Well, I'm going to go back to Denver beat them the first game too. And OKC came back with a vengeance. So I'm going to give Hollenberg his due. He's definitely proved his point with the 5-game winner. But I'm not going to give him his flag just yet. I'm going to see what's going to happen game 2. Because when the boys came back on Denver, and you talking about the Joker now.
Oh,
So
yeah, they gave him by 40, yep.
Let's see what happens. I'm not going to give them their flag just yet.
All right.
Yeah, it definitely ain't over.
No, it definitely ain't over. So before I put my thoughts, I just want to say I'm sitting in for my brother Jerry Green. I didn't mention his name when I first did the introduction. Love you, my brother. So I didn't say it. So now, I looked at the game now during the 18 turnovers. OKC, if you guys remember, they missed a lot of shots, man.
Yes.
Also, during that time, when they was causing them turnovers, man, they was missing a lot of shots that normally they wouldn't make. So if they would have made a lot of, I don't know what the percentage of them 18 turnovers, how many points they actually got out of that, but I know they missed a lot of shots. They only lost by 1 point. If they would have made half of them turnovers, or even a little bit more, they probably would have won the game. Probably wouldn't have came down to that, but they did miss a lot of shots because that gave them 18 more extra times to shoot the ball. And,
Yeah, but Henry,
yeah.
but Henry, look at the second half.
Oh yeah, go. Indiana
now,
played a lot better. They didn't turn the, cause most of the might have been all the turnovers.
But what I'm
might have been in the first half.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the game might have been a lot different too if Indiana didn't turn the ball over as much as they did.
Right.
You know what I mean? So by OKC not doing nothing with the turnovers, they might have been behind by 20 if they hadn't turned it over.
That is true, and that's a possibility. And see, the turnovers to me was especially they were trying to get the ball down low a lot, and them boys was swiping the ball away and so on and so on. But that was a great game. So we'll see what game 2 has. But now let's talk about.
Hey, before you move on, let me say one more thing about OKC. When they were playing Minnesota, they didn't have to worry about guarding their big man down low. See, so they had guys like Caruso and them guys. They doubling up and doing this and doing that. You know what I mean? But now they got problems with Miles and them boys out there shooting them threes.
Right.
And that's opening up everything. So like Donald said, though, it's not over. They could come back, but they're gonna have to make some adjustments.
Let me say this too on my little point. At the end of in that fourth quarter there, them boys stop putting all that pressure. You got to continue to do that double teaming. That last shot that Halliburton took was pretty much an open shot. They followed him down court, but they gave him an excellent look. There was almost no way he was going to miss that. That's one man during the game. You can't give him that. You can't give him that at no time.
Yeah,
take advantage of you. And it should have been 2 guys on him. They should have had that same pressure that they started with in the end. You can never slack up when you're playing pressure like that. Never.
And Donald, to build on that thought that you just said, I'm glad you reminded me, because do you guys think when Rick Carly, he did not call a timeout when Shade missed the shot, Indiana got the ball, they didn't call a timeout, they went down, so OKC really didn't have their D. They kind of, I guess, confused them.
Hey,
what do you guys thought on that?
I love that, Henry. I don't understand today why coaches would call a timeout and give the other team a chance to set up. You know what I mean? I loved it. They came right down and did their thing. They already knew what they had to do. Go ahead and do your thing, Halliburton. Your time now.
And
you know what I mean?
Anybody else got any thoughts on that?
Well, the same token, Bruce, OKC should have known you can't give Halliburton that shot. Them boys been playing. He been teaching them to double team all game long. They ain't got enough sense. They got to call timeout to tell them.
Right.
They have some sense of their own.
I agree. I agree 200%.
Yeah. All right. So game 2 is Sunday. So we'll get a chance to come back on Tuesday and talk about how the series is looking in game 2. But now to a question we talked about earlier before the playoff starts or at the beginning, Tyrese. How you doing, Bishop?
Blessings to you, sir.
As far as where do you guys rate him? Because my question was, and I'm going to bring it back up again, is he the best point guard in the NBA today? Bishop, I see you shaking your head no. Let's start with you. Tell us why. Oh, I know we did this before, but now you don't see them in the playoffs. Tell me why you say he's not the best point guard in the NBA today.
I'm not going to call him the best because his numbers don't portray him as the best. He's a clutch player and he has clutch moments. That doesn't make him the best. The best point guard, if you want to say, is one that knows how to contribute to his team, distribute to his team, and get his team involved in the game. Halliburton isn't really getting his team involved. They're basically, and I mean, when you look at this team, I know on 4 different occasions in game 1, within the last 50 seconds of a game, they changed the frame, but it wasn't Halliburton's doing. Last night, when you look at the OKC game, Toppin and what's the other guy's name? Nim, you know who I'm talking about.
Steve Smith.
Yeah, there were 3 guys that contributed to the coming from behind and winning. It was not Halliburton. You can't call him the best. He's not the catalyst. That's all I'm saying. That's why I say no, he's not the greatest.
Yeah, but I got to disagree with you on that. He's the motor of that team, man.
He's the motivator.
He may not be the best, but he's one of the more pure point guards in the league. I'll say that.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Last night, a lot of them 3-pointers came up with rebounds, loose balls. They're trying to find guys outside. Nothing to do with Halliburton. Nothing to do with him at all. They were trying to find somebody open, and they get a rebound and tap it out to him. That's where they made their 3-pointers at.
Yeah, but still, all of that is good, and that you're supposed to have players that get rebounds and throw it out. But overall, running the team, that's what Halliburton do.
I have to agree with Bruce. First of all, you got to look at that last play. They knew they gave the ball to Hollenberg. He didn't just get it. They brought it down and put it in his hand. He was the man.
He actually brought it down.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He was their closer, and he's their you know what I mean? And you can say in today's game, he got to be considered one of the best. It's not about you scored 30 or 40 points. It's about how you run that team and get everybody involved.
That's what I'm saying.
It's about closing in the end. Every team needs a closer. Listen, every team needs a closer, and we saw Shea didn't close it. He had his opportunity. He didn't. Halliburton came down and closed it like a true champion.
I'm going to say this. I can agree to a certain point, but then I disagree. No, it's not about scoring 30 and 40 points. When I say get the whole team involved, I can't call you a true-to-life point. The point guard is the engineer, the catalyst. He helps the machine to run, which
that's
means
who he is.
Well, that's what he does.
That's exactly what he does.
So Bishop, if he is not the best, or who would you say in the NBA today that's the best point guard in the NBA?
Wow, and that's really a hard call for me because I don't see one that stands out. Okay,
I do. Anyone that ain't home now.
And even if you don't go with you got to go with Shea if you don't want to go with what's the name?
And I can go with Shea.
Shea don't run that team, man. Shea is more of a shooter. That's like
no. Shea runs the team. Bruce, let's go back.
But he run it.
I disagree because last night Williams go off on his own. Williams is Williams tried to take over the game at times when Shea's not involved. You know what I'm saying? Right. Williams sometimes he shoot too much. Yeah, he wants to be mad just as much as Shea. You know,
Shea had 40 last night.
But Shea will get everybody involved. He proved that.
Yeah, but I'm not saying he don't. I'm not saying he don't, but he's just that good when they look for him to shoot. He's just that good. I mean, he mastered the mid range and he's smooth as they come. They hardly don't even want him to pass.
Yeah.
So he's just that good.
So would you guys say that Luka Doncic is the best point guard in the NBA?
No,
No.
no.
Well, he
No.
averages like
He
almost
way down there. He
No.
way down
See,
the bottom.
8 assists a
Jerry,
game.
you know what? See, here's the problem. The argument is always lopsided. Who scores the most? Who got the most rings? This is more than just rings. This is more than just scoring. I'm sorry. Let me put it to you like
Wait a
this.
minute, hold on, Bishop.
Let me say this, and I'm gonna mess with you for a minute. Hold on, Jerry. I mean, hold on, Henry. I'm calling Henry Jerry. They started looking like y'all. Anyway, the truth of the matter is, look at it this way. You always gotta look at what is it that you bring to the table that helps the rest of the team be that much better, and that's what you gotta look at. That's the
Magic
criteria.
was the best in the business.
Better believe it.
See, now you're talking.
Magic
Hey,
was a
hey,
living
hey, Bishop.
example of a point guard.
Better believe it, Larry.
Hey, but Bishop, at the end, you got to look at who brought the ring, too.
Well, you got to look at the ring because that's the ultimate goal is the ring. But I got to agree with Larry. Magic Johnson was the best to do it. And then,
you know,
I got to throw in a John Stockton.
No,
Look, we're talking about today.
Jason,
Let's keep it today now.
Hold on.
Let's keep it today.
Y'all losing the focus of the question.
Yeah.
The question
Today.
was, who's the greatest of all time point guard? We're talking about who's the best in the NBA today.
Henry.
What about the guard for Cleveland?
Which one? Who's the point guard?
Garland is more a point guard for Cleveland.
Yeah, Garland is more of a point guard.
You know what, Henry? You know what, Henry? If I'm starting a team, I don't want my point guard to be my team leading scorer.
Nope.
I'll tell you that right now.
Nope.
I don't want my point guard to be the team leading scorer. You know what I mean? That's why I pay all this money for a shooting guard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want him to be the distributor. You know what I mean? Not that he can't score, but I need my point guard. That's just me if I want to run my team. I need my point guard.
I agree with you.
Everybody involved. But if you need him to do his thing, go ahead and do your thing.
I need him to get at least 20 a game. I need him to get 20.
But see, Bruce is saying what I'm saying in terms of the point guard being the all-around player and not just a lopsided shooter or one, not a one-sided, not a one-trick pony.
Right.
He's got to be able to be all around. That's why I can't test. And right now, currently, the man is among the tops because look, they're up 1-0 at the moment. You know what I'm saying? So what are we gonna do about that? Nothing. Let's wait and see what happens. Games we got now. OKC has to win 4 if they want a championship. You're saying?
Yep.
I'm sorry. All I'm simply saying is I'm not gonna call Halliburton the best because he's not. The truth of the matter is he was in the right place at the right time.
But Bishop, but all I'm asking, so when I ask you, who do you think is the best? You can't name nobody.
But it's no best.
Can't name
it's no best. It's one of the best.
He's one of the best. But see,
no best.
I mean, I could turn around. I can throw in Jalen Brunson. I can throw in, and I'm not sure who the point is. I'm just saying. I mean, there are a lot of great ones out there. Trae Young was a good guard. Steph Curry is a 2 guard. He's not a point guard, but he's more of a 2. A lot of these guys are playing the 2 spot, and they might be points.
Right.
So it's hard to say.
I'm gonna let Kendall wanted to say something. Let him get right.
There's more to playing the point guard than what's going on. Now, I am not an Indiana Pacers fan, but at the position of point guard, that's why I specifically sent y'all Earl the Pearl Monroe. What Burton does, and Halliburton does, you got to check it out, is that he gives you space. Back in the day, we used to have the first Twin Towers were Ralph Sampson and Akeem Olajuwon.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
That Sampson had. And
no, it wasn't.
They didn't work out too well. The most successful Twin Towers were David Robinson and Tim Duncan. And what did David Robinson do? He gave Tim Duncan space, and David Robinson sort of flanked him. What Halliburton does that I have noticed that I didn't pay attention to is that when he passes the ball to the player, literally, and you got to take a look at this, he's always in a position to get it back, but far enough away so his man can't double. I'm like, look at this guy. He's in positioning. So if I'm looking at the position of point guard, just the position, I'm going to go back and I'm going to tell y'all that Michael Jordan retired and he left out for 2 seasons. Now, we had a lot of guards out there, but the point guard that was the all-perennial point guard when he was gone was Anthony Hardaway. And before he got hurt, what he did, he wasn't the leading scorer of the team, but they made the finals, although they got swept. But he was a perennial point guard.
Yes,
So
he was. Little Penny.
now the game has evolved. We don't have any centers anymore, and we just don't have any point guards. Anthony Edwards is a shooting guard. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is a shooting guard. But if you go back to saying point guard, Halliburton is playing a position of point guard better than anybody in the NBA, and that's why they're in the finals. And he's actually hitting that last shot. He's responsible for them being there. So as far as the position of point guard, he is playing it better than anybody else, period.
Yes, he is.
Can't deny that.
Yes, he is.
You can't deny that. Right
So,
now, listen, they up 1-0, right? Okay, so what? There's the evidence right there. When he was needed, he was there. Go ahead. You were saying,
and everybody that's favorite over him, he already sent them home.
and he sent home some of the
Shea's
best.
still
Too.
there.
Listen,
Yeah, but Shea is in the Western Conference.
Hey, Bishop, we need you to do your thing here.
All right. Well, listen up. If you are in the Elm City, in the New Haven area, in the state of Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Providence, don't matter where you are, New York, New Jersey, hey, California, if you want to come on over, we need to see your face in the place on June 29th at the New Trinity Temple, Church of God in Christ, 285 Dixwell Avenue in the city of New Haven, where we're going to be celebrating the legacy of one Dr. Jerry Green. This man has been, for the last 43 plus years, has been a staple in the Elm City, in the city of New Haven. And for those of you that listen to radio, you have heard him. Some of you have gone on to be on radio, have emulated him to a certain degree. So I'm saying, come on, come all. I promise you, we're going to have a ball. You got to have your face in the place. That's June 29th at the New Trinity Temple, Church of God in Christ, 285 Dixwell Avenue in the city of New Haven. This is a Big Don's production. Wow. Come on there, Henry. I'm looking at the choke signs here. And I mean, what are you going to say about this?
Yeah, well, he closed all these. The only series he got left to close out is OKC. Right now he's up 1-0. He already hit a game winner. All the rest of them he hit the game winner. That's basically what he's showing. But Kyrie and up top, because he closed out on Milwaukee with a game-winning shot.
Yep.
Cleveland hit a game-winning shot during one of the games. I don't think it was the last game, but he closed the game out.
It was game 2, I think.
He closed the Knicks out game. Well, he didn't close it, but the iconic shot, boom.
And game 1.
And then game 1 last night. So
yep.
We have never seen a playoff run from one individual player as he is doing right now. Never. We're watching history. But now, I'll just say this because he brought that up. Now, if he closes out OKC, especially if he closes one with another game winner, will anybody be talking about Reggie Miller after that?
Yep. You'll continue to talk about Reggie Miller. I mean, if they win it,
you will.
no.
Yeah, but the only reason why because this is fresh.
Yep.
The people in Indiana, they'll never forget Reggie Miller.
Never.
But
Not
this is
If
fresh.
he wins a championship, they're gonna forget about Reggie.
No, they will.
They'll
not.
never forget it. They'll never forget about Reggie.
Why?
He'll be in
Because-
the back of their mind.
Listen.
That'd be like the Yankees forgetting about Reggie Jackson.
Thank you. That ain't gonna happen.
Not true, because the younger generation come along, they're gonna remember Halliburton, and we all gonna be dying off. So
No.
there ain't gonna be a whole
We
lot of
talking about
Miller
Reggie
stuff
Miller.
going on.
We talking about Reggie Miller.
Reggie Miller was 30 years
Reggie
ago.
Miller ain't that young. The
No,
young
30
generation,
years ago.
the
No, but
young
what
generation gotta know who won that championship for Indiana. That's what they.
That's
They ain't gonna
that's
worry
what I
about
said.
how
I
good
said
Reggie
the people in Indiana never forget Reggie
They
Miller,
don't.
but
They don't.
this is more present. So the young folks and everybody gonna look at Halliburton. That's
Mhm.
natural. But the people in Indiana never forget.
They're not
Reggie
gonna
Miller.
forget Reggie
They'll
Miller.
never forget him, but who will really be the man? The man who won them
It
the
would
ring,
still be
or the
Reggie
man,
Miller.
The man at the
who-
present. Only
Now-
reason is he present.
If Halliburton can win 2 championships, Reggie Miller might
Two.
have
He
to.
only got to win one.
Thank
He
you.
only got to
That's
win
my-
one.
Because
They won.
because he won one game, I ain't crowning him nothing right now because he ain't did nothing. And then on top of that, here we go again, gentlemen. We have got to let
Yeah,
them
but-
live out
Hey,
there.
Henry, you right though. If
Let
they
him
win the championship, they ain't gonna be hollering no Reggie Miller.
No, but the problem here is if he
No,
don't
they
win,
not.
if he don't win a championship, it's business as usual.
If he don't win a championship, he got 19 years to win one.
Well, see, my point is let him live out his legacy. We're too busy trying to put this guy on a pedestal and build a statue for him, and he ain't got nothing that we can call a body of work except the last 2 years or 3 years, however long.
In 5 years, he made it to the championship. How long it
Yeah,
took
in
Reggie?
5 years, and that's not
How
a
long
bad
it took
thing.
Reggie to get here?
It took Reggie a while to get. How long it take Michael to get there? How long Shaq? We can go down the line with that. My point is, he's got a legacy to build right now. I'm not putting him up where he don't belong right now. He's a good player. He's a great player. Let me just be honest about it. Let's be real. He's a great player.
But Bishop, this is where I think you're missing that. We're not putting them there either. What we're saying, if he wins a championship, if he wins a championship, like let's say he wins a championship this year, which like you said, he hasn't done. So you can't put him someplace he hasn't done.
Thank
Now,
you.
If he wins the championship this year, something that no other Indiana Pacers player has ever done,
They're gonna go crazy.
They're having a parade.
And you know what?
They're gonna go crazy.
They are within their rights to be ecstatic about winning the championship, and they're right to do that. But at the same time, when you talk about greatness of an organization, greatness doesn't go away in a moment.
Oh, no, I believe Reggie
Okay?
got a statue.
Patrick
Reggie
Ewing
got a statue.
never won a championship, but we consider him great. Figure that one out.
Yeah,
Well,
but Reggie will always be great.
Yeah,
Reggie
I mean, I agree
always
with
be
you.
great.
I agree with you, except for the fact, his greatness will always be there, but they're gonna be talking about the ring for a while.
They're gonna be talking about
That's
the
the
rings
difference.
for a long time. You're right
That's the
about that.
difference.
But see, the thing is, get 3 more games and we can talk about the rings. The thing that impresses me about Halliburton is his cool, calm collectiveness when it counts the most. I mean, you just put that stat up there and showed, and the whole problem is it's the entire Pacer team that cuts them 15, 20, and 22-point leads down to the point. That Cleveland series, he got my attention with the Cleveland series. They were down, with about maybe 8, 9 seconds left in the game, and they're down 8 or 7 or something like that. And somehow they managed to find a way to win that game.
All true, but every team need a leader, and that's who we talking
And
about.
I'm not knocking his leadership. All I'm simply saying is I am not plastering this guy all over the place as the great one. He's not. He is part of the entire body of work. He didn't get that 20-point lead down by himself. He didn't get that.
They're not saying that.
But he led the way.
I
He's
know
the
you're not
leader.
saying that.
He
But I'm
the
saying
leader. He the leader. Michael Jordan didn't win it by himself.
He
But
certainly
they're calling him the GOAT.
Shaq,
You ain't
neither
gonna
did
find
Dwayne Wade.
nobody that won it by itself, but you can
No.
find a whole lot of team leaders.
Exactly.
what make Reggie so popular? He killed the Knicks.
That's why he's popular.
See, he killed the Knicks. Any other team, he'd have been all right, but he killed the Knicks. He was
But
a
now,
Knick killer.
Bruce, to your point, I will say this. Hollenberg did put a dent in the Reggie Miller era when he hit that lucky shot that bounced up. That was the luckiest shot in the world. Come on.
It was meant to be.
Yeah, now let me tell you like this. It happened. So what are we gonna do about it? Absolutely nothing.
Fate, you got to look at fate. That might be the shot to take him all the way to the ring.
Oh, go ahead, Bruce. Sorry.
I'm gonna tell you honestly, you're right. And I heard you, Henry. Let me say this. You're right, Bruce. I mean, I'm starting to think, and I'm not gonna jump the bandwagon. I said OKC, and if Indiana wins it, well, it kind of makes me happy because the team that put my team out goes home with the ring. So I can live with that. But right now, it's looking like Indiana is the team to beat right now. Right now.
Yeah, but whoever win the first game, it always looked like that. But OKC got that history.
I know
Every series they lost the first game.
I know. I know.
What I mean? I think Denver won the first game and didn't win no more. I think OKC won 4 straight.
They certainly did.
You know what I mean? So you always look good if you win the first one, but you got to keep it up.
Yeah, I gotta look at his track record.
I saw him when he gave that choking sign to the Knicks. I saw that. Did he give it to all of them?
No, he gave it just to the Knicks.
So it was just invented on the Knicks, and they just spreaded it around.
That's right.
I got
it. Hey, Donald, when Indiana came back on the Knicks, they was up 14.
That's right.
When the Knicks came back on them, they was up 20.
That's right.
So he should have put the choke. I'm saying it was a bigger choke on Indiana than it was the Knicks.
Who won?
The Knicks.
The Knicks won.
When the Knicks were down,
No,
they won the series.
No, we talk about when he was using the choke sign.
Who came up with the choke sign?
Reggie Miller.
Reggie Miller. Halliburton.
Yeah. They showed him do it.
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what we're talking about.
Reggie Miller did 25, almost.
But I'm saying
18
he was talking about the Knicks choke, but he didn't say nothing when they choked. When the Knicks came back 20
He been winning. You don't have to talk about when you lose. If you're the winner, that's what you're talking. That's when you.
They hadn't won yet.
Choke sign up and you walk away.
They hadn't won yet. They hadn't won yet.
Talk about a loss to the Knicks.
They hadn't won yet.
They beat you guys and they moved on. So you have a right to throw the choke sign up and move on.
Yeah, but that wasn't the question. That wasn't the question.
But
they out of here.
I'll tell you though, that was an iconic shot. I know Bridget said it was lucky, but the way, I mean, when you say in a drama, in a moment, in a game like that, and that ball hit off the top of the back of the rim, it goes all the way up, and everybody do. Everybody is.
Well, you know what? When that thing went all the way up, I thought sure it was going to touch it was going to touch the top of the board, and they were going to discount it. It got right, and when I say you can't get no better than that, it got right to the tip to where it should have been a borderline call. They never even looked at it.
Came right back down.
But that shot, I don't know if that shot was better than Kawhi. When Kawhi shot did that, they won the championship.
Man, he broke Embiid's heart. He broke Embiid's heart on that shot. Kawhi Leonard. Oh man,
you see Embiid in the corner.
I still remember Embiid falling to the floor after that shot went down.
yeah, that was.
Oh man!
So, does anybody else have any thoughts on Indiana or OKC?
Well,
go ahead. Kendall.
Go ahead, Kendall.
People don't realize that Halliburton has been double dating his wife or girlfriend with Caitlin Clark and her boyfriend since she's been in Indiana, teaching her a lot of different things. What I noticed about him also, especially when I saw that comment about, Jalen Brunson brings the ball up in 17 seconds. Steve Kerr learned this from Phil Jackson, who learned it from Michael Jordan, and the rest of the Celtics did this stuff. They got the ball over the half-court line with like 20 seconds to spare on the clock. You try to get it up quickly. So then when my wife is watching Indiana, she would always say that team always plays like that. She's not really a basketball fan. But if you watch them, everybody gets involved. There's names that are showing up like, who the heck is this? They're all getting down. Like everybody's getting down. So I'm looking at Halliburton and saying, okay, I'm going with OKC to win. OKC is going to come back. It's not even going to go 7. They're mad. They're going to blow him out the second game. But this guy right here, I'm watching him, and I'm watching on how he's encouraging to his team, and I'm watching on how he spaces the floor.
Yeah.
Matt Johnson was the lead scorer on his team. Sometimes James Worthy, a lot of times Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But he ran up so that you have more people that can get involved. If we want to look at a basketball clinic, we're looking at the best offensive team versus the best defensive team, and it went down to the last second shot to a point guard who literally has the ball in his hand, knew what to do with it. He was so cerebral, even back with the Knicks, how he ran to the line, tried to go for the 3, but it was close enough. Listen, it was either a tie or win, and he went for it. We're just watching intelligent basketball as far as this guy's concerned. I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon. OKC is going to win this series, I think. But when we're watching this guy, he does all those little clever things that are just amazing. He's the best point guard playing right now. And if the object is to win the championship as a point guard, he's got him close.
The biggest thing that I take away from this is the very fact, I'm going to talk about that in a second. The biggest thing I take away from that is how is it that you commit 18 to 22 turnovers and still find a way to win? And I'm going to tell you, they got to the line early in that game. I think around the 8-minute mark, they were shooting. They had them at the bonus. So every time you stop that clock and you pop 2, I mean, that's the contributing factor, along with the fact that they got some great looks at the basket. And we won't even talk about the threes. I'm convinced Indiana is one of the best three-point shooting teams that have been in this playoffs this year. That's what I'm talking about.
The question here is this why the Knicks keep losing?
No.
So the top is saying, so Gilbert Arenas is saying that Cardi
Oh my God.
like a girl. He has a girl hips.
Is this why the Knicks keep losing?
Oh my God.
That's what it looked like.
Oh Lord.
Hey, listen, a lot of people got on Gilbert about that too. They said, how many 7-foot girls you see walking around?
We're all looking at the pose right here in the picture.
Yeah, but
He got a lot of female tendencies, though.
Anybody that play ball and you got a camera, you can catch people in any kind of pose you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
But that just
Take a look at the face too. Don't just look at the hands. Look at the face.
Yeah, but you can get that on any player in the league.
But you know what?
That camera, you can all kind of shots.
Kendall, pray for Bruce and pray for Larry, Kendall. Start now. By the time Pentecostal Sunday rolls around, they might be saved. Pray for Larry and Kendall right now. That's terrible.
Technology on today,
oh, that's terrible.
You can make all kinds of pictures and videos.
Tell him again, Henry. Henry.
I'll tell you that one.
But that's been a rumor for years, though. That's been a rumor for years.
I'll be convinced. That one convinced me. Hey,
I'm gonna put it to you like this. I don't know what his preference is. I don't know what his gender is or what he does. That's his business. I don't want to know. Just go play ball, win us a championship, and I'll be happy. I feel bad.
I tell you what he did. He brought one of the baddest sisters from Minnesota with him to New York. That's for sure.
All right.
Yes, he did.
All right. So here we got a picture of Mark Jackson. So the New York Knicks have an opening. So what do you got chances of Mark Jackson actually getting out of that blackboard list and being the next coach for the New York Knicks? Bishop, let's start with you. What do you think?
Who's that, Mike? You start with me?
Yeah.
When you disrespect a well-noted organization like he did, you kind of nailed your own coffin, okay? You can't be kicking owners and coaches out of practices just because you think you got it like that. Mark sort of kind of cut up his own nose to spite his face, and I hope he does get a NBA coaching job somewhere. I want him with the Knicks. He's a good fit for the Knicks. He would be what the Knicks need. Unfortunately, the Knicks ain't bending. They ain't trying to hear any noise. So, I'm not even gonna put no eggs in the Mark Jackson basket because I doubt seriously if he's coming to New York at any point in time, even to be a doggone promo guy.
All right, what about you, Bruce? What do you think?
Yeah, but the rumor was it wasn't about nobody getting kicked out of practice. They said they had one of the guys up in the front office that was gay, and he was slurring that he was talking that homophobic stuff to the players.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You know he ain't gonna kick nobody out. Who is he to kick somebody out of practice? They got plenty of guys. I mean, it was a lot more than that. That's why they blackball him.
I agree.
Mark Jackson, very religious guy, and
He's
he was.
I knew that.
And he was preaching that homophobic stuff. That's the way they looked at it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he said something against one of the guys one of the executives up in the front office, and they got rid of him. Because if you look at it, Golden State was doing great.
Yeah,
it definitely wasn't his coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Kendall? Will you think Mark Jackson's going to have a shot?
Well, he was black because Mark Jackson is a pastor. He's married to a woman by the name of Desiree Coleman. He has stood on his principles, and I think he should be next player of the New York Knicks. I think we are here at the United States of America, and we're free to feel the way we choose to feel. They're probably going to offer Dan Hurley the position, the UConn coach, but more than likely, I'm hoping Mark Jackson gets another shot. I think it's going to Johnny Bryant.
Well,
Johnny Bryant was a young black dude. He ready. He was in the Knicks organization for a while with Thibs before he left last year. I think he with Cleveland somebody now.
Okay.
But he young black dude and he ready, man. And I think they looking at him hard. You might want to take Mark Jackson out. He'll never get another job.
He's not coming.
What about you, Larry? What's your thoughts on Mark Jackson?
My thing is this: New York's been this way for a long time.
Yep.
And they're going to take a hard look at Mark Jackson because they don't want to continue at this pace. And to get somebody like Bryant that don't got no pedigree, I mean, he ain't got that kind of experience, and they want to win now, they need to get somebody that's got some kind of track record, good track record.
What about
Do you know the coach of Oklahoma City? What's his name?
Oh, God. I just heard.
Nobody know him. What kind of pedigree did he have?
For 2 years, mind you.
See, that's what I'm talking about. We got to stop looking at that. If
but you in New York. You in New York.
It don't matter.
Spotlight, they're not going to accept anything.
If they was going to bring Mark Jackson to New York, he would have been coach of New York years ago.
That is true.
It's a different time. Things change.
No, ain't no different time. He blackballed.
Okay,
well,
we the only one. Why is it only the young black coaches they say don't have no pedigree? They bringing they brought the guy from Boston from Baylor before he gave the job up and went upstairs. Brad Stevens.
Yeah.
None of them guys. They never mentioned pedigree.
Yeah.
With only us. Same thing with our quarterbacks. Everything got to be special for us. You never give us a chance. You never know about their pedigree or nothing else.
Extra special we got to be.
Yeah. What about you, Don?
Well, the LBQ community, you just don't talk against them. And
right.
He just made that, and once he did that, you just done. No matter how we look at it, no matter what we say or how bad we want them, you just don't speak up like that.
Right.
And that cost him. He's not coming back.
Yeah, the problem here is the LGBTQ community is only 1.7% of the total population of this particular country. Unfortunately, they have a stronger voice because they got people willing to stand up for what they believe in. What's our excuse?
Right. Ernie, you hit the nail on the head, brother.
What's our excuse?
You hit the nail right on the head.
But Ernie, there's a lot that are in the closet. They're just not coming.
Regardless of where they may be, Henry, respect.
They still have a voice.
The point is this: if you're going to be dominant, if you're going to have a voice, you got to stand up for what you believe in.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Simple as that.
Right.
There are a lot of
Trump is changing all that. They got rid of the men's room is going back to that.
It should have never
changed.
They
kicked everybody out the military. And he said there's going to be a ladies' room and a men's room and nothing else. You know.
But with Mark Jackson being a pastor, He was just standing on what the Word of God says, and
That's it.
So
And that just goes to show you.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that sometimes a lot of stuff you got to keep to yourself.
Well,
Right.
here it is in a nutshell.
You know what I mean?
Again, when you stand up for what you believe in, don't think there aren't going to be consequences. We can go back to Colin Kaepernick and what happened to him. I believe in my heart, and I know we're still talking basketball, but if Colin Kaepernick had been able to play these last 5 or 6 years since being blackballed, I still think he would be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Unfortunately, because he stood up for justice in an unjust system, they blackballed him and made sure he didn't play another NFL game. You know, and again, we as a people, and I'm not talking those who are watching, wherever you're watching us at, this is not about race. This is about people. If we stand up for what we believe in, I promise you, we're a voice that can be heard, and they won't have no choice but to listen and make the necessary changes. End of story. I'm ready for president.
If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly. And we're falling for the fact that we think Holland Burton is one of the. No, let me stop. That ain't it. Go ahead. Keep moving.
All right. So this next topic up here.
Wow.
Is Tibbs. So he was coach of the year in 2011 for the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
In 2015, he got fired.
Mm-hmm.
Then for the Knicks in 2021, he was coach of the year. And in 2025, he got fired. So we know he want to go. He runs the starting 5 in the ground. He doesn't use the bench a lot. But what are you guys' thoughts as far as his track record?
Larry explained that Tuesday. You know what I mean? He been coaching the last 30 years and he refused to change.
Right.
Yep.
You know, you can get me to the dance, but you can't get me on the dance floor.
Right.
Well, that's terrible.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And I'm not thought with him just being fired from the Knicks. So now when you guys look at it, now the New York Knicks, they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. So now you have to look at the next coach. Anything short of going to the NBA championship would be a failure. Would you guys agree? I mean, I'm just saying, why fire the man? Hear me out, Ernie, for a minute. Think about it. He got you to, when was the last time the Knicks made it to the Eastern Conference Finals? Anybody
97.
know? Okay, 97.
Yeah,
right.
so he
did something a coach hasn't done since 1997. And he also did something, I guess, what he won 50 games 2 years in a row, something like that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So now, and you fire him.
Yeah, but look at Rob Woodson. I think Rob Woodson the only one won what he won, 54 games, 57 games.
Yep.
And they fired him.
Right. So, but what I'm saying, as the Knicks organization, you look at. So, I'm just trying to say, the reason why you fired him because you're saying he couldn't get the job done. I mean, unless it was something else.
But you got to look at the talent they had. They went out and paid all this money and bought Bridges. They bought Townsend. They thought they had a team that could win a championship.
Okay.
No, they didn't.
And what he done?
They knew they could beat them. Can
I finish? New York.
So, but all I'm saying
you ain't talking right.
All thing I'm saying is, if you guys look at it, what are the New York Knicks' thoughts? They fired him, okay, and that's what they accomplished for them. So So as an organization of the Knicks, what are you expecting from your next coach? If he doesn't get the championship, then what's the purpose?
Let's not move to the next coach first. Let's deal with this one. The bottom line is this, and I think Bruce already said it. Tibbs all year long didn't play more than 7 players all year. You got 14, 15 guys on the bench? And it wasn't until game 2 that he was going to get the number 8, number 9, and number 10 players to go play in the game, found out that they were contributors. By then, basically, the fate had already been sealed. We were already down 2-0.
And that's exactly what the organization was looking at.
That's right.
What happened if they hadn't fired? Suppose they didn't fire Tibbs, and this upcoming season they get knocked out in the first round. Then what?
Okay.
Tibbs
That don't mean he going back because he went to the conference final this year. That don't mean he gonna make it back next year.
That's
How many
right.
people picked them to get over? There's a lot of things that happen. Indiana knocked off Cleveland.
Yeah.
And New York knocked off Boston, which both wins was surprising to everybody.
Yeah.
Yep. And see, you got, and then
it wasn't even the third best team to come out.
He knocked off Milwaukee in the first round.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they knocked off Cleveland. And then the bottom line is this: Tibbs did a great job. Let's just give the man credit for what he's done. But the problem is he's that kind of player. He just ain't got enough gas left in the tank to get over that last hurdle and get to the finish line. And New York is looking for somebody that can get them to the finish line. And if they're willing to take the chance on another coach that might take a year or two before we get there, well, I mean, now, and Don's going to get after me when I say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. If some kind of way we could have held on to Randall with what we got now, ain't no way in the world Indiana's going to the NBA Finals.
But Tibbs could
Or
have changed.
Harkenstein, for that matter.
Tibbs could have changed.
Mm-hmm.
He know the team very well.
He wasn't changing.
He could have changed. He got old ways, but if he know he's going to get fired, if they tell him you don't play everybody, you getting fired,
they ain't going to tell him that.
He should have guessed it.
I agree.
Yeah, but Larry, it's like you said, Larry. It's like you said, Tuesday. The guy been doing the same thing the last 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who gonna change if you see that? If you got a woman that every time you seen her, she was in the club. You think you marry her, she gonna stop?
No.
You know what I mean? The only thing you can't go by what people say. You got to go by their action.
The old saying goes, Brute, you can't change the spots of a leopard, neither can you change the stripes of a zebra. It is what it is. Right. So here we are. What are we doing here?
All right. So now on this picture, that's LeBron James and Michael Jordan. This ain't LeBron was born in 1984. And Michael Jordan was drafted in 1984. And then it says LeBron was drafted in 2003, and he retired. And Michael Jordan retired the year that LeBron got drafted. So they never.
Ain't that something?
That's the changing of the guard right there.
So right there, you see the correlation as far.
Oh yeah. That's something there.
LeBron was born. Michael Jordan was drafted in the NBA, and then the year that LeBron gets drafted in the NBA, that's the year Michael Jordan retired. And
that's something, man. That's something.
That's literally, Henry, the passing of the baton, the change.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. He being anointed right there.
Yep. And now it's LeBron's turn. The question is, who is he passing the baton to?
Nobody. Ain't nobody gonna catch him.
No, it ain't about catching. Here we go. Here we go with these stats again.
No. Already, what else can you go by? I mean, as far as how long is it gonna take somebody to score the amount of points he's scoring? You know what I'm saying?
You're talking about stats again, Henry. Get past the stats. Greatness is not just stats.
Okay.
Greatness is living in the moment and producing what's needed and necessary for victory. That's greatness right there.
Okay.
You wouldn't be a great preacher that you were if you didn't get in the trenches and do the work that you do, bro. Come on here now. Bro, I'm just saying, Don wouldn't be the great producer that he is. And I mean, somebody might look at Big Don Productions and say, this is small. No, that ain't small market. This is big market. Y'all got to get behind this man and see. My point is you put the work in and the work will speak for itself. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree totally with what you're saying. But we're talking about torch. We're talking about See, you got to talk. We're talking about.
Anybody get me something to throw at him? I ain't throwing nothing.
Hear me out though. How many people? They got a lot of great players, a lot of great players, a lot of great legends. But who are on the level of Michael Jordan and LeBron James in the field of basketball? That's what we're talking about. So you get. We're not just talking about great players. We're talking about the top.
All right.
The top dogs.
You're gonna make me do. You're gonna make me do this. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Okay. Let's start. I'm gonna do one of Don's numbers. Let's start with the rings. Okay. How many Game 7s has Michael Jordan played?
In
the finals.
No.
Okay. How many has LeBron played?
I don't know, but I know he played some.
6.
Okay.
He's played 6 Game 7s.
Okay.
In finals.
Okay.
Lost, I think 2. I don't know if it's 2 or 3 of them.
Okay.
But the point I'm trying to make is the reason why we call Michael great is because when it counted the most, Michael showed up. In the NBA finals, he made sure he didn't go to a Game 6. I don't care if he even had to cheat, because I still look at that Utah game, man. You know, made Craig Elo almost break his neck trying to stop him. But the point I'm trying to make is greatness in that respect, the body of work that was done to get them to the point where Michael Jordan can do what he did is a difference. LeBron has done it with three different teams.
So
Michael
yeah,
did it with one team.
So Bishop, but I'm asking you this question: did Michael do it by himself?
He can't do it by himself.
Okay.
There were 9 other guys, if you want to count them all. I think the first Chicago team played 9 guys. On that team, by the way, Connecticut's own Scott Burrell was on their second and third championship team. That's just an FYI.
All I'm saying, from that standpoint, and the team sports, all the other guys, they don't get no credit. They're not taking nothing away from Michael, but all them other guys help Michael get to that point.
Because it's all about leadership. That's why.
That's why.
But you can't remember the guys on the bench half the time.
That's right.
But what I'm saying is, Mike, they got to the point where then Michael took over when he needed to. But all up until the other point, he needed them other guys. Michael couldn't get on the court by himself and beat 5 guys by himself.
Yeah, that's what we said about Halliburton. That's what he was saying. He needs the other guys. Let's hit this before we go out.
Okay. Oh yeah. So now, what will this record be after the first 5 games? So
probably 5-0.
I'd say the same thing. You got the Giants, then they go to Green Bay. They got the Raiders, the Falcons, and the Chargers. Green Bay, they can be 5-0. What are you guys' thoughts?
The only team I see that has a shot at beating them in the first 5 games is Green Bay, and I think they're playing in Washington.
No, they're playing in Green Bay in that game.
Well, see, that's the only team I see that has a shot. Them other 4 teams, the Giants are going to be carpet. The Raiders are going to be carpet. The Falcons, they're going to be practice. And the Chargers are going to be carpet. Yeah. It's going to run right over them.
Yeah. And see what helps, because they're going to Green Bay in September, so it shouldn't be that cold. So that might help.
And now, hey, Don, I know you just put that up. Did you look at the date on the Green Bay game?
9/11.
Yeah, 9/11.
That's my birthday.
Happy birthday to you, Bruce. But that's going to be a disaster probably for Washington if they don't come in with their A game. A big disaster. That's the only team in the first 5 games.
No, I think the Chargers. I think the Chargers could beat them.
The Chargers can beat them, and they better be very careful about Atlanta, because that new quarterback they got.
Oh, yes,
they're gonna make some noise.
Yes, but I don't think he's ready. He's kind of like McCarthy for Minnesota. He might look good, but he may not play good.
And you know what, Bishop? You might be right, because looking at the date, it's a 4th. So that game against Green Bay is a Thursday night game, because they play 9/7. So they might lose that game, because
they're coming out there 2-3.
No, they play Sunday and then they turn around and play Thursday. It's a short week for them.
Green Bay.
Yep, that's a short week.
Right.
So if they lose anything, it would be that Green Bay game
right there.
Then you got to look at Larry's point too, because that quarterback that they got for Atlanta, providing that he gets the starting job, That
You
guy,
got it
I
already.
watched him in the last 2 games. That kid is phenomenal. Do you hear me? That kid was a noisemaker. So I'm expecting some big things out of him. I got to remember his name, take a good look at him. And please, we need a backup quarterback. Any of you guys want to loan us a backup quarterback from Minnesota?
Yeah, we got I think my man available. What's Dallas' old backup name?
I don't even know.
Oh, yeah. Cooper Rush.
Dallas.
Cooper Rush available.
Come
No,
on,
you
Bruce.
know
You don't
what?
know?
We
Listen,
wanted
I
Cooper Rush.
got one
Rush.
last question before we go off. What do you guys think gonna happen to Shador Sanders? I'm really confused myself. What do you think gonna happen to him at this point?
I think when the season starts, he's gonna be the starter.
I
Oh,
do
yeah?
too.
I
do
think
too.
unless he cuts off his own nose to spite his face, I agree. He'll be the starter.
See,
My
they
question,
they put all that bad stuff out there, man.
He gonna be started by game 5.
Yeah.
By game 5.
I think the open it. See, right now in practice, man, they showing, man, where he throwing some bombs, man. You know what I mean?
not
But the
only
other
that,
guys ain't doing bad. But I think in day one, I think he's gonna be the starter.
Yeah,
They don't want to give him too much because they don't want his head to blow up.
His head ain't gonna blow up.
By
His
game
head ain't gonna blow
5,
up.
trust me, it's gonna be slow, but he's gonna make it.
Listen,
Game
this
5.
guy is used to the media. He used to the all the stuff that come with being a star. He's not a guy that came from nothing. Most of the guys that
They
come
want
from
him to be
nothing,
humble though. You gotta understand that
yeah,
part. Just
he
like
always
in
been
military,
humble.
you gotta be humble.
He
They want him to
always
be
been
under
humble.
control.
He's always
Watch.
been humble. The media want to make it look like he's not
well,
humble.
the
He's
media is
always
taking
been humble.
You're right, Bruce. The media is
I never-
taking a pop shot at his
That's
father.
all. I
on
never
his
seen him
behalf.
say nothing out the way about nobody. I never seen him blame his teammates, his bad offensive line that he had, and he had plenty of time to put them down. You know, they was getting them killed. He never said nothing bad about them.
Nope.
That's what a guy that's
were after
humble
his
do.
father.
It doesn't matter what people assume. You know what I'm saying?
No. It don't matter what people assume.
It does. It
No,
does.
no.
When
No,
you
no.
playing up there, if the NFL think you're getting too much out of
All he
control,
got to do,
they will
all he
pull
got
you
to
back
do
in
is go out
line.
there and do his thing.
yeah.
That's all.
Well, I think
Anytime you
he got
win,
humble in the draft.
people forget. Look what happened when he first left Jackson State and went to Colorado.
Yep.
Look how fast the people went on his side instead of turning against him. Don't you know half of them folks was against him when he was at Jackson State? Look how fast they converted. They love him to death in Colorado now.
That's right.
The dog can go to Colorado, don't need no money. That's like Walt Frazier in New York.
Throw this in there, Bruce, while you're at it. He now currently is the best quarterback Colorado has ever had.
Better believe it.
And they had
Better
Cordell Stewart.
Huh?
And Cordell Stewart played at Colorado.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
Cordell Stewart was pretty good.
And he was very good. But he's
But
now,
but you can't say that because he hasn't proved what Cordell Stewart did.
Here it is in a nutshell. Cordell Stewart didn't prove much. He got a lucky break. Who was it that was quarterbacking at the time and he took over and got him in the playoffs?
Wasn't he with Pittsburgh? No, was he with the Steelers?
It was Pittsburgh.
He
was
was
with
with
Pittsburgh.
the Steelers, and he played
Yeah.
for he played
I'm
for a
not
few
sure
years.
if it wasn't Bradshaw. Who was after Bradshaw? He was in between, and then the big guy came in before he retired.
Roethlisberger.
Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, yeah. He
Yeah,
was before Roethlisberger, but just after Bradshaw.
Yeah, but
So-
Stewart wasn't no bum. I mean, we can say that. He wasn't no bum.
No, he
Yeah.
wasn't no bum.
I mean, the
but
same thing that Shador ain't no bum.
Yeah,
All
so,
things
you know what I mean?
saying is
close
this.
on you guys.
in
So-
terms of
Go ahead, Bert.
No, I was gonna say in terms of college football, and I'm gonna stay in the realm of college football. I can't talk pros because Shador has not played one single official
Right.
pro game yet.
Right.
College football, Colorado's best quarterback right now was Shador.
I don't know.
believe it.
You gotta look that up. I don't think so though.
Yeah,
Look at
All right.
the stats.
What was Cordell Stewart's record?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
but talking about the Steelers, you know, they just signed Aaron Rodgers. Well, he's going to plan on signing with them. So I don't know how the offensive line is or that, but being in that division because Cleveland Browns in that division, The Baltimore Ravens are in that division. I'm missing this one more team. I'm missing out of there. Cincinnati. Cincinnati, I think, in that division.
Yes,
Right.
yes, yes.
So that's a tough division. So do you guys think, Aaron, what place would you place them? Are they going to be behind Cleveland, or because I'm going to say Baltimore is going to be number one, Cincinnati probably number two. So then you got 3 and 4. It's either going to be Cleveland or it's going to be the Steelers. Where would you guys place between Cleveland and Pittsburgh? Where would you guys with the Steelers with Aaron Rodgers? What do you guys think?
Yeah, but that's a hard question right now because it's a lot of people moving around. Like Pickens left, Pickens left. So
right,
we got to
with
see.
Dallas, yeah.
A lot of free agents and stuff been moving around on a lot of these teams that's like Pittsburgh and them Cleveland. So right now we don't even know who they got, man. A lot of wide receivers moving around. So it's hard now to say what place, you know what I mean?
Okay. John, you got anything? Anybody got anything they want to say before we close out?
Well, I was going to get Bishop to read this one more time before we close out.
All right. You still got time. You still got space. And I know in your wallet, you got a place. We need you to show up to the New Trinity Temple Church of God in Christ. That is going to be Sunday, June 29th, 2025 at 285 Dixwell Avenue, where we will be celebrating and appreciating our great friend, the CEO of this great program that you are now watching, Dr. Jerry Green. For years and years, he has been in the community, has been there, a mainstay and a staple. So I don't want you to come to observe. I don't want you to come just to look. Bring your wonderful self, but bring your pocketbook. We need to see your face in the place. That is the appreciation service of Dr. Jerry Green. His celebration begins 3 o'clock Sunday, June 29th at the New Trinity Temple Church of God in Christ, 285 Dixwell Avenue in the city of New Haven.
Thank you.
Hey, one thing, Cordell Stewart's record was 27-5-1.
Okay.
Wow,
He had an 83% winning percentage. So
wow, that's great.
Yeah, but what you gotta look at is when Dion brought his boys to Colorado, they hadn't won but one game. So he had to bring a whole new team in there and get all them together, and that affected. They went from 4 games, and the next year I think they won 9.
Yeah.
So people want to say their record was 13 and 10.
Yeah.
That ain't fair when you rebuilding a whole new team. I'm
Right.
quite sure the team that Stewart was on was already established.
Now, can I add something to what you're saying, Bruce? If Stewart played for Colorado the entire time. So now, since we're going to do it that way, let's take his record at Jackson State and add it to what he did at Colorado. Now, where are we?
Another thing, Ernie, everybody know that Shador played all-star ball with the line that he had, the offensive line.
Exactly.
How many quarterbacks could have did what he did with the offensive line that he had?
A substandard line.
Substandard line. And that make the world of difference.
It does. You recall the game, I think, who was it, Arizona? Or was it red and white? Nebraska, I believe it is. Man had to roll left and got cremated as he's delivering a touchdown pass to Mr. Hunter. You don't remember that? Cordell Stewart had a running, if I'm not mistaken, I think Cordell Stewart had a decent running back. They had a great defensive line, a good defensive line. Go ahead.
Plexico Burris was on the team.
Plexico. I think Burris was playing when Stewart was there.
Oh,
So I think that's who was there.
He was a great receiver.
Yeah.
But anyway, he the same guy shot himself in the leg.
Yeah. Hey, well, we can't always have a full deck. So what can we say to that?
Yeah, but you can't have a deck full of jokers either.
Yeah, well.
Anybody else anything they want to talk about?
Yeah, Henry, are you there? When we talk about LeBron and we talk about Michael, I mean, I don't know why we dismiss the fact that Tim Duncan and Kobe Bryant played in the era of LeBron. So I mean, they got 5 championships each. They got 10 championships while LeBron played. I don't understand why they're not in the conversation. LeBron, body of work, stayed in shape longer than anybody else, out there. But when we're talking about greatness, obviously we're talking about, Michael Jordan, LeBron, we're saying they're the greatest. But I'm wondering why Tim Duncan's, not in the conversation. And the thing with him is that he wasn't a point guard or a guard. So the ball wasn't in his hand. He didn't bring the ball up. He had to get the ball in order for him to, do what he did. He won 5 championships. He should be.
He didn't have to put the team on his back. That's why we don't talk about him.
Great point. Great point.
That's a good point.
Hey, people always talk about how many finals that LeBron lost, right? But they don't look at the team. Look at the team that LeBron took when they played San Antonio, who they was up against. You know what I mean? People act like that don't matter when they say, "Oh, he only won 4." But Mike couldn't even got that team to the championship.
No.
You know what I mean? That's the difference in all of that.
Yeah.
Well, his first 5 years, I believe, 6 years, he didn't get a team to the championship. And it was
And LeBron went to what? 10 straight?
Who, Mike?
No,
LeBron. 10 straight finals?
Yeah, he went to 10 straight. And you
I don't care how weak they say the East is. Ain't no man got no business going 10 straight if he ain't doing his thing.
There you go. I don't disagree with that, but still, I'm not going to put a greatness title on him. I'm going to leave it at Michael, and there's a time coming when LeBron will surpass Michael. It's just
You already passed him.
No. Statistically,
You already passed him.
He surpassed him by 10 years.
Yeah,
Right. Exactly.
Statistically, you're right. He has passed him. We're not
About
talking
10 years.
No, not only a stats, his body of work. There's
We don't
nobody
need
that
that.
ever played that had a more all-around game than LeBron James.
I agree.
Nobody.
Okay, Henry, you can go ahead and close it out because we're on the wrong
okay.
subject. We'll be here all night for
We'll
real.
be here all week.
Yeah, because I had 2 strands of hair left and that fell out.
All right. So,
Well,
Kendall,
mine was gray, but now I think it'll be white soon.
so Kendall, you mind closing us out tonight?
I don't mind. We thank each
No,
and every
okay,
one of
Kendall.
you. Huh?
Kendall.
Go ahead. You
Kendall,
got it.
yes, I'm sorry.
Oh, you want
Hey,
that?
I just had a Halliburton moment. Excuse me. I thought I was the MVP.
Got stolen from you, Bishop.
That
Now
was
I
good,
gotta
man.
Now I got to go
That
hit the
was great.
winning shot. Game 1.
That was great.
Hey, listen, gentlemen. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 says what? Quench not the spirit. If you're feeling it, Bishop, go for it, brother.
No, sir. He asked for Kendall. Come on
But
now.
okay, anyway, I was just
Thank
having
you.
a happy moment. Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus, I think it's an opportunity for us to fellowship together, to just enjoy sports, Father, just to glorify you, praise God. In Jesus' name. I thank you for the embodiment of Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior. And I pray, Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus, people at the sound of our voice can see the joy we have when it comes to sports, but more important, our relationship with Christ as well as our relationship with one another. I thank you for being a part of Sports Talk on WJRG. I love you, gentlemen. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Kendall
Thank
Siaka.
All right.
fellas.
Hey, Don. Thank you,
Yeah.
Kendall Siaka.
All right, fellas. I'll see
So
you
we'll do it
guys
again
later.
on Tuesday.
Yeah.
God